know what? I've done some thinking. Many of y'all were right. He should have complied. Yes, he should have complied. Officer Bowers should have complied with the citizen's request to bring his supervisor to the scene. So let's go ahead and read this police report. Even if you did not see the video, the police report would tell you exactly what kind of officer Bowers is and what this department allows to run rampant on the streets of Jacksonville. This is Jacksonville Sheriff's Office police report of the incident noted. I only found one report. I didn't see any report written by any other officers. It's just this report here. What stood out is that on the last page, this report was written by Officer D. Miller. And we all know by now that this is not the officer that initiated the traffic stop. This is weird to me. I couldn't find anything else. If something is different, if something else is uploaded from the time that I visited and upload this video, let me know. But this was all that I found on Jacksonville Sheriff's Office website. Now we know this report was written by another officer. So this offense occurred Wednesday, February 19, 2025 at 16:17 hours. So the offenses that we have listed are 1, resisting officer without violence to his or her person. And I really appreciate the Mr. Eric, one of the news reporters that was at the sheriff's briefing. And he pointed out that he was charged with resisting without violence, but he was met with an overwhelming amount of violence. And I mean Mr. McNeil, by officers on scene.
Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try.
Offense number 2 is possess not more than 20 grams of marijuana. Use or possess with intent to use drug paraphernalia. Financial responsibility, driving while driver's license suspended. Offense number 5, no headlights, rain, fog, smoke, etc., or according to Officer Bowers, inclement weather. Offense number 6, Florida seatbelt law, driver not belted to be cited. And then next it shows the victim. Of course, in this type of situation, the victim is the state. Suspect information on the next side, you have Mr. McNeil's information. And the next portion, you have the vehicle information in which Mr. McNeil was operating. Now we go into the property and evidence. Property number 1, drugs, narcotics, seized about, 8 grams of marijuana. Property number 2, drugs, paraphernalia. Property number 3, marijuana, edible. Property number 4, paraphernalia. They describe it as a scale. Next item is weapons. I didn't see a weapons charge, but let's see what we have here. Weapon, large knife. Associate this one with a resisting officer without violence. So how are you resisting without violence with a knife, but met with an overwhelming amount of violence from officers? This one was really slick how they tried to do that. Next page, number 5, property number 6, destroy, damage, vandalize front driver's window. And now we get more of the vehicle information. So Mr. McNeil was not the registered owner of the vehicle he was operating. That's interesting. This vehicle was not towed. It was not towed from the scene. It was released to the registered owner. And I would like to see if there was any contact made as far as questioning her, anything like that, because for the officers to release the vehicle on scene, that means she showed up. That was kind of odd. The officers on scene realized they messed up bad. And so they wanted to, let's smooth this over and let's go ahead and give her a car. Look, bro, we're not going to tow your car. We're going to go ahead and release it to her. Try to right their wrongs that way. I got some more thoughts on that. Now, here is the report narrative, and red flags all over the place. On 2/19/25 at approximately 16:17 hours, Officer G. Kearse, badge number, responded to assist officers on a traffic stop. Now we have these asterisks, and it says Officer D. Bowers, badge number, made the following statement. Well, why didn't Bowers initiate his own report? I don't get it. That was kind of weird. This is kind of weird to me. And then we saw that this report was written by Miller. So this is all types of messed up. On 2/19/25, while on patrol in my marked patrol vehicle, I observed a silver SUV suspect vehicle at the stop sign of West Palm Ave and Columbus Ave. The suspect vehicle did not have on its headlights or taillights illuminated in inclement weather. What was the inclement weather? Still not going into detail, because you're supposed to paint a picture where whoever's reading this can put themselves in your position and know exactly what happened and have very limited questions. I also observed the driver was not wearing his seatbelt. That right there is also questionable, because we saw in the video that that was not what you led with. If the seatbelt charge was what you had and you got it, you would have led with that first, because that was more solid. But in this instance, when I saw seatbelt violations like that, I would continue driving and observing. I wouldn't just jump and do this. This was so weak. I initiated a traffic stop on a suspect vehicle, at which time it came to a stop near the intersection of West Palm Ave and Commonwealth Ave. Upon approaching the driver's side of the vehicle, the driver quickly opened the driver's door. The driver, later identified as William McNeil, suspect, immediately became verbally combative. I don't think combative was the proper word to use. So he's trying to, or somebody else wrote this for him, because as we see, Bowers does not have his own report signed by him. This is 3 officers involved with this report. So this looks weird to me, and by him being the initiating officer. I advised the reason for the traffic stop, which he refused to listen. I asked the suspect for his driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, to which he replied, "Call your supervisor." The suspect refused to comply and shut the driver's door and locked it. I gave numerous orders for the suspect to provide his identification, which he refused. Now I bring you back to where I said Bowers should have complied. He should have complied with this citizen's request for his supervisor. There is a road or patrol supervisor on duty at all times. Where was your supervisor? So that would be my major question. Where was the supervisor on scene? Because being a road supervisor, patrol supervisor, you would have heard this traffic over the radio, stop what you were doing, got your butt in your car, and went to the scene. In this entire report, you're going to hear me finish it, but you will not hear of a supervisor responding to the scene. You have at least 5 officers on scene with someone who has locked himself in the vehicle, EMS being called for lacerations to the lip. You heard radio traffic of window being broken, and no supervisor came on scene. And listen, you're not going to hear that at all in this report. You're going to hear about EMS responding, other officers responding, but you will not hear about a supervisor responding to the scene. Due to the suspect actions, I requested assistance via portable radio. Several officers responded to the scene to assist. I advised the suspect that he was being placed under arrest for resisting arrest without violence. The suspect still refused to exit the vehicle. I gave the suspect several warnings that I was going to break the window and remove him from the vehicle if he did not comply with lawful commands. The suspect continued to refuse to comply, at which time I broke the driver's window and opened the driver's door. I, along with other officers on scene, removed the suspect from the vehicle. The suspect was reaching for the floorboard of the vehicle where a large knife was sitting. The suspect continued to attempt to pull away from officers and refused to place his hands behind his back. Physical force was applied and the suspect was taken to the ground. The suspect still refused to place his arms behind his back. Now, in my last video, I told you this. This common saying on police departments is not what happened, it's how you articulate it. Absolutely. This paragraph right here, this is not what happened. This is how the officer is articulating it. The suspect refused to comply, at which time I broke the driver's window and opened the driver's door, omitting that he gave a palm strike to Mr. McNeil's left side of his face as he opened the vehicle. I, along with other officers on scene, removed the suspect from the vehicle. Did not talk about the officer who went in, undid the seatbelt, pulled Mr. McNeil out of the vehicle, who had control of the left hand, who had control of the right side, who was trying to bring his face down. He didn't name any of those officers. He did not mention the face strikes, did not mention the other officer who actually pulled him out, who was punching or hitting Mr. McNeil's legs with something in his hand. I'm not sure if y'all saw that.
Behind your back! I'm resisting! Behind your back!
But no mention of any of that, because that would have left bruising and pain on his body that Mr. McNeil would have complained about. He also didn't talk about the hand injuries the hand injuries. Because had Officer Bowers called for a supervisor to the scene, you would not have had a citizen injured. You would not have had 2 officers showing their swelling.
Very good.
And fist bumping with blood on their hands.
You good? Yeah, you or him? Okay.
Had a supervisor responded to the scene, this supervisor may have been able to talk Mr. McNeil into compliance and also into signing his tickets or doing whatever. And you would not have had complaints. You would not have had a civil suit facing you. You would not be dragged across social media and the internet like this, being seen all over the world. Bowers, T.K. Dirty Waters, okay, and the other officers on scene.
If you see him pull up, because, man.
That's why they make supervisors. That's why they make these sergeants. And then they send the sergeants to all these supervisors retreats and give them all this specialized training and opportunities, because aren't they supposed to be leading their officers? Aren't they supposed to reduce the amount of complaints and further strengthen the bond with the community? He should have complied. Next, you have the suspect attempted to pull away from officers and refused to put his hands behind his back. That's untruthfulness. That's a flat out lie. Like this right here, Bowers should not be allowed to testify in court ever again, because this is untruthfulness to the 5th power. Physical force was applied. What physical force? Was it open hand control? Was it a wrist lock? Did you apply pressure to pressure points, strikes, use anything on your belt? I saw one officer pull out his taser.
What's going on, man? You're under arrest. No. Yes, bro.
Tell us what really happened. The suspect still refused to place his arms behind his back. This also was a flat out lie, a major lie. The suspect was reaching for the floorboard of the vehicle where a large knife was sitting.
No.
You knew this after the fact, whoever wrote this.
Yes, bro. Because, man, what you mean?
We saw the video. Mr. McNeil never reached for the floorboard at all. The car was completely trashed. He probably didn't even know the damn knife was there. But the car was junky. It was a dumpster on wheels. But you're lying. You're flat out lying. Did you alert any other officers around you? Knife. If there was a knife, then why didn't you have your duty weapon drawn? If he was going for a knife. But then also too, why would you charge him with resisting an officer without violence if he was reaching for a knife? Like if this is the case, he wasn't reaching for the knife to make you a sandwich. Yeah, this was all types of lies. Bowers should never testify. And if anything happens, they'll keep him locked away in records somewhere, and then he'll make it over to training, and he'll train more little Bowers or whoever, to go out there and terrorize the citizens of Jacksonville. I love report writing. I absolutely love report writing, and I know how serious it is and how this is a record forever. So I'm coming to y'all telling you this, breaking this down with my experience. I've had training. I've taken a FBI writing course. I've taken that. But the most important thing when you're writing your report, you write it truthfully, okay? Truthfully, because you can either become a great officer off of a well-written report, or you can become a criminal. The suspect still refused to place his arms behind his back. He's still lying. The suspect was eventually placed in handcuffs and placed in the back of a patrol vehicle. The suspect complained that his tooth was chipped. I observed blood on the suspect's mouth. JFRD engine Rescue 12 responded and medically cleared the suspect. Were pictures taken of these injuries? How did these injuries come about? End of statement. So I guess this is the end of what Bowers said, but it goes on to say Officer Bowers read the suspect. Well, who's reporting this? Is this hearsay? Is this Officer Bowers saying that I read the suspect? This all types of mess up. Officer Bowers read the suspect his constitutional rights via card, and he said he understood his rights. The suspect said he does not have a medical marijuana card. He said he had 3.5 grams of marijuana on his person and a marijuana edible in the vehicle. He said he smokes and eats edibles when he gets off work. He then said that he recognized the officers to be law enforcement, but he did not want to speak to officers because he did not believe he had committed the violations for which he was cited. Officer Bellegarde This is the one who went into Mr. McNeil's pockets. And I'm willing to conclude that this is why all the drug charges were thrown out. Because, like I said, fruits of the poisonous tree. All this was thrown out, including Mr. McNeil's confession after he was Mirandized. Officer Belgar found the following property items: marijuana in a plastic bag in the suspect's right pants pocket, pipe with drug residue found in the center console, marijuana edible found in the center console. Yeah, I believe that all this was thrown out. They make it look good like, oh, it was a plea. Officer Miller, the one who is writing this report, found a scale with drug residue in the vehicle center console. Officer Bowers found a large knife on the driver's seat floorboard. Okay, so who cares? Fruits of the poisonous tree. All right. The vehicle was released at the scene to the registered owner, Latoya Solomon. The suspect was transported to the jail but rejected due to his injuries. Officer Kears drove the suspect to 55 H Street West to be treated and was released to hospital security. Case cleared by arrest. Good on the jail. The jail did not accept Mr. McNeil. Like, all these were tickets. All these were tickets. He did not have to go before a magistrate. He did not have to post a bond, nothing like that. Clear by arrest. So I'm concluding that he was given tickets, which he should have been given tickets in the first place. You saw the vehicle was not towed. The last page shows that the reporting officer who wrote this report was D.D. Miller in patrol, submitted on 2/19 at 1933. So this report was submitted or written and submitted 2 days later. Now, I caught this while I was editing. I initially said that, okay, we finally have a sergeant who approved this report. However, Belgar is the dude that removed the weed from the pocket. Now, had a sergeant read this report, put his name to it, and approved it without stopping to ask these questions. Where did these injuries come from? Under arrest for resisting arrest. And then here's one other thing that I want to point out to y'all. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office intradepartmental correspondence to and from and involving this. Following a supervisory referral from Internal Affairs, a review of a case Officer DJ Bowers, badge number, worked on December 7, 22 was completed. The incident involved a possible fraudulent check. The complainant gave Officer Bowers paperwork, including a copy of the check. Officer Bowers failed to place the paperwork into the property and evidence facility and failed to complete a proper follow-up of the incident. A review of Officer Bowers' body-worn camera revealed that he needed information from the paperwork and he was able to work the case to fruition. Additionally, after he coordinated with the economic crimes, it was determined that the case was civil and no criminal charges were filed. Officer Bowers was issued a formal counseling on 5/5/23. I called the complainant and informed her the case had been completed, and Sergeant Register provided her with copies of her paperwork and report. I bring this up to you to show you that in the police report, we read all of the property that was seized from making contact with Mr. McNeil, and not one piece of property mentioned his cell phone. From what we know, there were 2 cell phones present, but we do not see those cell phones listed in the police report.
Process, yes, ma'am.
So did officers take custody of the cell phone that he was using to record the incident?
Yes, put it in the property room.
Okay, that also was not in the report.
But he got it back with all the information still on it.
So why was Mr. McNeil's property stolen from him and not released? This here shows that citizens cannot trust their local sheriff's department. They will steal from you. From my experience, officers will seize these cell phones and try to download all the data. Officers stole Mr. McNeil's cell phones, his property. If this wasn't grounds for termination, and if a sergeant did not catch this, this is cover up. This is absolute cover up, and this is terrible. My comments to Sheriff T.K, Dirty Waters, is if your officers are not playing fair, why should you expect the public to? So it's rules for thee, not for me. This still represents how dirty you are. And this is why I say, the tree all the way down, the head, the rooter to the tutor, of Jacksonville Police Department is absolutely dirty. No sergeant stood up and saw that there was some inconsistencies and untruthfulness and that a citizen was injured in this arrest. Then you have the chief who he's went on about his merry way. He even admitted, I was in church when I found out the video was going viral. We're gonna talk about him. You know what? I'll see y'all in the next video. We're gonna talk about TK Dirty Waters.